How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Mullin It Over. This week's a little different. We did a little road trip not too long ago. Went over and saw a friend of mine, Bill Alford, with BNE BBQ, and he was gracious enough to allow us to set up and kind of capture the magic of what he does whenever he sets up for a smoke. Because I'm telling you what, folks, everybody just loves his barbecue. It's getting all kinds of rave reviews. But that's a process, and there's a lot that goes into it. And we kind of break it down a little bit. Greggy did a great job once again of putting this video together, folks. I want you to enjoy. This is our BNE barbecue episode of Mullin It Over. Please enjoy.
You want interview food? You want to eat? You want to eat? You look hungry.
Nan here. I take it you are a loyal customer. I heard this from Bill.
Loyal customer from day one. Saw it on Facebook. Came out first time and enjoyed it. I've had everything. I've had the chicken, ribs, I've had the brisket. Today I'm enjoying some pulled pork. The mac and cheese, over the top, great because it has all the bad cheese, so that's what makes it taste so good.
To Mullin It Over. This week's episode is live 500 North Washington Street, the site of BNE BBQ. I'm live with Bill Alford. Billy, how we doing, man?
Great, man. Great.
So another successful smoke. Let's talk about today. Just beautiful weather for an outdoor smoke. You couldn't ask for better weather, right?
Hopefully it finally turned, man. Hopefully it finally turned and we're on the way up.
So I gotta ask you, man, what inspired you to get into barbecue? Like what made you want to start your own business doing this? Because I mean, everybody loves barbecue,
right,
but it takes a madman to want to do this, right?
So over the last couple of summers, we've thrown parties and stuff here at the house, and the majority of the time, it's this is great. It's the best barbecue I've had, ever. So, that kind of just stemmed into the momentum and the, just the overall confidence that, hey, maybe we should try to do this further. And, to me, it's one thing to have, 5, 10 friends over saying it's really good, as opposed to repeat customers that return to come back every single time, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see.
And you've had a lot of repeat customers and a lot of customers that you probably didn't even know before you started something
Absolutely.
like this. I mean, talk about that, what that means to you, just making new connections with people that you hadn't ever made a connection with before.
It's the smile on the faces, man. It's the smile on the faces, the connections like you alluded to, and I get asked all the time, do you want to get into competitions? Do you want to do competitions? To me, it's not about the competitions. I don't care for the trophies. To me, a trophy is anybody that comes back and continues to repeat customer. Every time I see the faces that's a trophy to me. So I love that.
Right. So walk me through the process a little bit. Like, what do you have to do to get started in the morning? I mean, what time do you start doing?
We started about 12 a.m. this morning, getting up. But I mean, that's the physical work. All the actual thinking process and what we're going to do, planning up to this is a week, sometimes even 2 ahead of time. Just the planning in itself. What are we going to smoke? How can we get it? Is it available? How much do we need? So forth and so on.
Yeah. So now when you start the cook in the process, now when do you actually load? How long do you have to keep this thing fired up before you can actually load it with some of your meats? Like, what's the first thing that goes on?
So today we did pork butts, and that's typically a 12 to 14 hour smoke. But it all starts with the fire. The fire and the fire management is absolutely key. If anybody wants to get into smoking, start smoking, you absolutely have to understand fire management. So it's the smoke, understanding when you start it up, when the color changes, and what you're actually looking for, and when it does, and when you can put your meat on. So
yeah, for sure. And what sets your barbecue apart from everybody else? Because everybody's had barbecue before, but something keeps bringing everybody back here, Billy. Like, what's going on here?
This is honestly just my own humble opinion. It's the stick burner, man. If there is somebody doing it around the area, I'm just not aware of it. It's the touching the firebox 10, 15, 20, 30 times if need be in a single smoke. And that's just the first couple hours getting through. It's the loading of the wood. Again, the understanding the fire management, when you need to take some out, when you need to add some. What is the smoke telling you that you are doing? Choking it off, do you need to add air? I mean, it's that alone puts flavor into this food, and that sets it apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you share like maybe a story or like memory that you've had throughout this process that kind of like just says, this is why I do this?
Again, I would allude to, I'll start with the name, and that's BNE BBQ.
Yeah.
That is my wife and I's 3 boys, Bo, Nash, and Easton. That's where BNE comes from, and that's where it stems from. And that's, to me, it's really important to show my boys that anything that you put your mind into, anything that you set your goals, it is achievable.
I gotta ask, what does icon mean? What's the icon about?
Oh man, this is a touchy one. I am a huge country fan at heart, and it's Hank Williams Jr., Mr. Bo Cephas himself. I believe he said it best, and if you watch his interviews, icons don't ask, they do. And again, that to me hits home, not only for myself, but for my boys. Anything that you want to be successful with in this world, you shouldn't have to ask. You should have the confidence and the courage to do it.
That's right.
Go do it. And you know what? If you fail, get back up and we're going to try again. Because if you're not failing, you're not trying.
Yeah.
So it's not just a term. It's not just a name. It's a style. It's a motivation. It's a motivation.
Embodies what you are with BNE BBQ.
You absolutely have to push. And if you're, in my opinion, if you're not pushing, if you're not trying, then it's like, what are we doing? It just starts from there. And after that, it's the camaraderie, which we talked about a little bit earlier. It's the seeing the repeat customers. It's the messages. And afterwards, getting the compliments on, hey, your barbecue was great. It's awesome. It's fantastic. We'll come and we'll order again. That's a goal, man.
It really is, man. And I mean, that's something that you've kind of accomplished throughout this whole process. Now, you've been doing this for what, about a year now? A little bit over a year?
Selling on the driveway for a little over a year now. Yep.
So if somebody was to start their own business, what advice would you have to them if they're just about to, get started? What's the first thing you would tell them now that you've had a little bit of experience?
Patience.
There you go.
Patience, man. You're not going to get to. I mean, I'm so far off from even where I want to be, and we do pretty well. But you have to have patience. You have to understand the basics and the concepts of what you're doing. There's so many folks that really want us to dive into it and continue to go further, and there's nobody that wants to do that more than myself.
Right.
But I'm still trying to learn and understand every single smoke that we do. I learned something. My wife learned something. It doesn't matter if it's from the smoke, if it's from the selling standpoint, the customer standpoint. It's anything along those lines.
Now, obviously, you don't just set up your smoker and start smoking. Like you have to spread the word a little bit. Tell everybody. Now, how do you engage with your customers usually? Like, is it through social media mainly, or?
Yes, we do. We do a lot of social media. I'm telling you, what you guys, I'll change roles here for a minute. First, I can't thank you guys enough for doing what you guys do here in the town and in the area. From doing, podcasts like this, interviews, or anything you guys are doing for the sports and the youth. It's absolutely phenomenal. We had nothing. I'm going to age myself here. I'm 37, going on 38 this year. We didn't have anything like this when we were growing up as kids. We would have died to have anything like this, man. So what you guys are doing is absolutely phenomenal, and I thank you guys a ton for doing that. It means a lot. But to transfer back to your question, we're on Facebook. That is honestly the best way to do it. My cell phone number's on there. You can reach out to me anytime, send me a message. I just started the Instagram page. I'm not hip to Instagram. I'm trying. So we are on the gram now. That's awesome, man.
It's like new age word of mouth. You know what I mean?
It's the social media. It is from what you can engage on, as opposed to going out back in the day and posting flyers or, we have business cards. I post business cards out, but it's, just the engagement alone and the camaraderie that you get from seeing the people and, the engagement. I know I'm saying that a lot, but it's the word, man.
I mean, that's how you make connections, and that's what this is all about, making connections.
Absolutely.
Creating the relationships so you get those continued customers, those repeat customers. Do you have any upcoming events or any projects that you're working on? Maybe you want to talk about?
So I'll throw a little stunt in here. I want to.
Juicy nugget?
I would like to. I'd like to say a huge thank you to the Mayberger family, from Scott to Tom to Kevin, for inviting me back to take over the third shift manager spot down at TBC Food Service, which is going to allow myself, my wife, the weekends now to smoke more. If it weren't for them, allowing me that opportunity, Jim Mayberger as well too. If it weren't for them allowing me this opportunity, I'd be on the every other weekend path, and we'd be going through those same stunts and stuff. So what I'd like to transition into is more specified smokes. And by that, I mean, it's not always going to be a full menu or a 3/4 menu. There's so much stuff that I want to smoke that we haven't even got into yet. I haven't even got into dive into yet. And having every single weekend off is going to allow us to do that. So I don't want to lay all the beans out yet. I can't do that because, and a lot of it is too, you have to be able to get your hands on the product.
Right.
That's
hard.
I have been trying. If anybody can reach out and get me some whole plate beef ribs, the first order of whole plate beef ribs is on the house.
Nice.
You can't find them. They're very hard ticket item to find right now, but it's something I've been dying to do. So stuff like that. The barbacoa, the brisket tacos. I mean, there's the smoked wings that Jim and I developed.
Oh my goodness! Now you are speaking my language.
Smoked wings, and listen, to me, barbecue was done generations and generations before we even started. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not doing anything crazy that hasn't been done before us in years and years to come. I'm just simply putting in the time, putting in the effort, and putting in the work, And to me, that is what I'm trying to show the boys, which again stems back into BNE, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And I mean,
it's for the boys.
You can tell it's a labor of love, and you put a lot of love into this. I can taste it. Every time I try it, I can taste it.
I can smell it, man.
Well, I'm smelling it right now. It's teasing me.
depending on the day, depending on the day you have, and what's on the menu, we have 16 to 22 hours in the smokes, but it's all, at the end of the day, if the customer's happy, I'm tickled to death.
What are the goals that you have right now? What do you want this to turn into eventually? Obviously, this isn't the final product
right,
here.
We're just getting started. If we stick around the area, we're definitely possibly looking at a brick and mortar. May possibly even start with a food truck even before that and see how it goes.
Nice.
There is no option or anything that is completely off the table. I've had a few people that have reached out wanting to invest. That's not off the table either. Anything is up for discussion. My wife is currently holding many hats, but the biggest one, other than being a mother and not taking care of me, she's going back to school right now to her nurse practitioner license. So,
awesome.
I'd say we're extremely busy, and I mean that's an understatement with the three boys.
Yeah.
So,
I know that for sure.
So, that right now is going to take priority over everything. So, we will get there.
I got to ask you. You make a lot of barbecue.
Yes.
What's your favorite? I need to know. I got to know. Like, what's your favorite?
I'll start with what we consistently do on the menu, and it's the leg quarters and the mac.
Yeah.
If you had to hold a hammer to the head right now and say, what are you gonna take to bat? And I'll throw the pulled pork in there too. The pulled pork, leg quarters, and the mac. My humble, honest opinion, nobody around here is touching it. It's what I would hang my hat on right now is the pulled pork, leg quarters, and mac. It's juicy, it's tender, man. You're not beating it.
Oh my God.
But
you had me at first bite, man, for real. I'm not even playing.
We are gonna get into the brisket, folks. Just relax. I promise you, we're getting into the brisket. The brisket.
I showed up thinking like I'm gonna ask him about the brisket, but then you mentioned smoked wings, and now you have like I'm on board.
You haven't even.
I love smoked wings.
Don't even fathom what's going on. It's something that Jim and I have both. It was a weekend thing. In the couple of years that hey, let's do this. Let's try. You want interview food? You want to eat? May possibly even start with a food truck even before that and see how it goes.
Nice.
There is no option or anything that is completely off the table. I've had a few people that have reached out wanting to invest. That's not off the table either. Anything is up for discussion. My wife is currently holding many hats, but the biggest one, other than being a mother and not taking care of me, she's going back to school right now to her nurse practitioner license. So,
awesome.
Say we're extremely busy, and that's an understatement with the three boys.
Yeah.
So,
I know that for sure.
So, that right now is going to take priority over everything. So, we will get there.
I got to ask you. You make a lot of barbecue.
Yes.
What's your favorite? I need to know. I got to know. Like, what's your favorite?
I'll start with what we consistently do on the menu, and it's the leg quarters and the mac.
Yeah.
If you had to hold a hammer to the head right now and say, what are you gonna take to bat? And I'll throw the pulled pork in there too. The pulled pork, leg quarters, and the mac. My humble, honest opinion, nobody around here is touching it. It's what I would hang my hat on right now is the pulled pork, leg quarters, and mac. It's juicy, it's tender, man. You're not beating it.
Oh my God.
But
you had me at first bite, man, for real. I'm not even playing.
We are gonna get into the brisket, folks. Just relax. I promise you, we're getting into the brisket. The brisket.
I showed up thinking like I'm gonna ask him about the brisket, but then you mentioned smoked wings, and now you have like I'm on board.
You haven't even.
I love smoked wings.
Don't even fathom what's going on. It's something that Jim and I have both. It was a weekend thing. In the couple of years that hey, let's do this, let's try this, let's do it. And we got together, and it's phenomenal, man.
You do those smoked wings, pair pretty good with some MST sauce
absolutely,
too.
Absolutely. If anybody is chasing anybody in this town, it's Chase down there in that street. The guy, he's done a phenomenal job.
Set the standard.
Much props. You can't, hats off to him. If you're chasing anybody right now, my honest opinion, if you're chasing anybody, it's him.
Yeah.
He's killing it, man. That's great job.
You're killing it.
And you're down there with him.
Yeah.
You're down there with him.
I've been down there the whole time,
many years, yeah. But just go back to the brisket real quick if we could. It is something that we're definitely going to dive into. That is an extreme labor. So the price does go up on it. It's just, if everybody doesn't mind paying it, I would absolutely dive into that and smoke. We have plenty of options down at TBC Food Service. That's where I get the majority of our meat from. Meat is such a finicky item, and to be able to plan, even to have a 4 o'clock start time or a 1 o'clock start time, whatever it is. The thing about smoking, especially the meat, it tells you when it's done.
That's right.
You are not, I don't care who's smoking, what you're smoking, that meat is going to tell you when it's done. So you have to do your best job. And again, that goes back into the planning, into the labor, and you have to sit here and babysit this.
Right.
You have to be, and if you don't, your chances of success are dropping drastically.
So it's not something you can just throw in there and forget about it for 12 hours?
I mean, you can if you want to. You can.
You want some dry ass pork?
You're not gonna produce what's coming out of here. I can promise you that you're not gonna produce what's coming out of here. The majority of the comments of the time, it's great barbecue, great job.
We start talking about those brisket tacos.
We have
you just perked every ear up within earshot right now. I'm just saying.
We do the brisket tacos and the Mexican street corn.
Wait a second.
Straight for a weekend.
Wait a second. Mexican street corn?
Straight for a weekend.
Come on now, let's do this.
Already. I understand what goes on here and what we're doing for sides. The brisket tacos and the Mexican street corn. We're gonna kill it, man.
Oh man, I love street corn.
We're gonna get there, I promise, guys. It's gonna be a long summer. It's gonna be a good summer.
You speaking my language.
We are excited. We're excited.
Well, I'm excited now. You got me excited. I'm sure you just piqued everybody out there.
If I'm missing anything, somebody reach out and let us know how we can further assist anybody.
BNE BBQ. Well, hey, once again, Billy, appreciate your time, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate the good food, and I'm anxious. I'm ready to get into it, man.
You guys are always down here supporting, man. I can't thank you guys enough for just not only being here today, but what you guys are doing for youth sports and period. You have a new venture going on at Tiffin University. Congratulations for
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So we all got things in the pipeline here, man. Let's keep on growing Tiffin. That's the main thing.
Hell yeah.
Keep on growing Tiffin, and just try our best. That's what we're here for.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. Because this is where the love is, right here.
The smoker may be coming up for sale. I need a bigger one. So I need a bigger one already. So if anybody
not quite big enough yet, huh?
If anybody's interested, I need a bigger one already.
All right.
So we've outgrown her.
Well, there you go, folks. This has been a blast. Once again, Bill Alford, BNE BBQ. Check him out on Facebook, Instagram. Give him a follow. Once again, thank you for everybody for tuning in here on Mullin It Over. Have a good one.